I played Ganesha already. I think I have a video up maybe on the VOD channel. Ganesha is gonna be OP. Like, it's just gonna be really strong against everybody.
Yeah, so talking about Ganesha, I mean, you know, bringing him from Smite 1 to Smite 2, I think he's just like one of those supports that, I mean, he's like one of the most supportive supports in the sense that he literally cannot be getting his own kills unless he's obviously completely by himself. And he's just a staple, but he's also pretty heavily intense on the
I'm thinking about what happens if he goes on Chile and whacks you or ones you and you're silenced for a second and a half, and then he twos you and you're silenced for 3 seconds.
That he can output as well in the CC in the lockdown, especially with that silence. We talked a little bit before about some of his +1s, but I want to reiterate some of them now because I think we've even like added a little bit on top of that.
Oh, nice, cool.
Okay, so you've got his passive. You know, if there's any allies in the vicinity, he'll actually be gifting and bestowing them his kills, and that includes god kills as well as minion
50
kills.
50 bonus gold.
So he'll get the assist. But now instead, a little added spice to that good fortune is that if he does gift a god kill, he will also get a little bit bonus gold too.
Nice.
So he's going to be getting a little bit of that benefit for himself.
Just a little bit.
It doesn't feel like it's just, you know, you're only giving, you're getting a little bit of that fortune back. He's the god of success. After all, right? So.
Sweet. And then let's talk about the one, Turn of Fate.
Turn of Fate. So he sends that curse forwards. The main +1 on this ability is that now when an enemy god is hit by the Turn of Fate, they're actually going to be marked. And when they're marked, you can see that, well, the mark of the curse. Any further hard CC from anyone on your team, so not just from yourself, will actually proc that mark to deal bonus.
2 counts then, right? Your 2 would proc it?
It was a good example of our number summing there too.
Oh yeah.
When you dash forward, there's other ways to
Why won't they do it?
But, you know, see the number counted up, so it wasn't just like I did 30, 30, 30.
We'll definitely see it on the ult here when we show it off.
That's right.
Sweet. Ability 2, Ohm.
Ohm, I think, is almost exactly just the same. You're going to be going ahead and silencing the enemies in front of you, getting protection.
Wait, it didn't say how long? Am I blind? Where's the duration?
Think is almost exactly just the same. You're going to be going ahead and silencing the enemies in front of you, getting protections and giving protections as well to all of your allies nearby. You have that small movement speed,
5
slow
seconds
as well, but it's not very high.
No. 1, 2,
And then of course we got the Turn of Fate.
No,
the
it's
big
3
plus one on
seconds.
here is he can now destroy player-made non-ultimate walls, right, Clemson?
5 seconds. Do you understand how long 5 seconds is in a team fight? If you get gargoyles, and not even if you get on Chile, that's 4 seconds, and then you get gargoyles, you're at 5 seconds.
It's one of the main ones. So you can actually, I mean,
0.8 seconds. Okay.
Bot shoot once for the Ymirs. It'll spawn several walls.
So what is it? Just all one word?
All one word. Bots shoot once. So there's 2 S's in there. Bots shoot once space 1.
Once space 1.
Yes. The bots shoots once is also one word.
Ah, it's all one word.
It's all one word and then space 1. Like trying to have a look at this.
Oh, and then dash through them.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you can see 2 of them broke.
Okay. Okay. I want to point out, Shell is busted by itself. Now you're telling me Ymir could just bust down everyone's walls? Is that going to be Odin walls too?
Early because you went through those, and you can actually, and then the last one stayed because you didn't hit it.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh, wait. If I remember correctly, it says not on ults. It's player-made walls that aren't ults. If it's the same as it was on PTS.
So it's
That's
like
right.
there's there's Thorwall, there's Honor Pillar. Is it just those 3?
It's gonna be
Right now, I
OP
believe it's just
against
those 3.
Honor
We
Pillar
talked
and
about,
Ymir
like,
wall.
whether deployable and stuff count, and they do not. I think it'd just be inconsistent there. So, and it's not ultimates as well. So you're not going to see him going through and breaking the Odin ultis or the emoji ultis. That's just not very cool.
Sweet.
And then
I'm pretty sure you still pass through them.
Can you do the silence again one more time? Oh, never mind. Okay, we're good.
But another further +1, plus like, you know, 0.1 that we added to Ganesha as well is that if you cannot cancel the dash while you're actually dashing. There's not all dashes allow you to do that. But what you can do now actually is if you dash and you hit someone, you can cancel during this, like the attack.
Oh, okay, nice.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
if you go in and you connect, right click then, see, you get the
Stops the
stun.
damage,
You don't
though.
get any of the damage, right? You're
Right,
stopping.
yeah.
But that also just means that like if you connect and you actually hit someone by mistake, or you just want to like go in that direction then leave, or do something like
That's
earlier,
pretty
and you don't
cool.
want the full thing.
I actually
You're not
like that.
locked into that entire process.
That's
Right,
super
but you have to play
cool.
the
That's
whole
like
animation if
micro
you want them
quality
out.
of life.
Exactly.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And does it end the stun a little bit early too, or is it?
No.
if
So
you
once you
if
first hit, you're
as
gonna
soon
be
as you
getting the
hit
stun.
cancel.
Yeah,
if you
as
can.
soon as you
Try
hit
and time
cancel,
it.
you'll get the stun, but you won't get any of the
didn't
damage.
cancel.
Okay.
That's tough. That's tough timing, but
Cool.
all right. And then Dharmic Pillars, the ultimate. Let's see if I can line it up here.
Yeah, it's all there, and it's goodness. You can see the timer in the center. You can see all the damage that it's doing.
Yikers.
Especially because we have the incremental damage now.
Yeah, I think that like, and you can turn off the number summing or whatever, the incremental damage, whatever you want to call it. So this isn't something that you have to have on. It will be on by default for new players. But I think that like it helps understand how much damage things are
is
doing
this a new,
in a way
new
that
thing they're adding?
was not clear to me before.
For sure. I mean, I literally, the number summing was in, and that same day I was testing Ganesha, and I did exactly this. And I tested the ultimate, and I'm like, I knew this did a lot, but I'm just looking at that number.
Number summing is gonna be weird.
And I check like my wand, I check our numbers. I'm like, no, that's the numbers. That's always been the numbers.
Yeah, and
Dear Lord.
I will say that like that's kind of best case scenario, right? Because like usually for Ganesha, you're gonna hit it like once or maybe twice, unless you get like rooted on it, or you know you time your 3 to perfectly hit when they're
you can
standing
turn it
on
off.
it.
I'm saying I don't know if I'll
like,
use it or
like
not.
that kind of a thing. But yeah, I think it's definitely still a very strong ability.
Oh, it's
Doing
very
lots
good.
of damage.
And one might say it's only going to get better, but we can talk about
I know,
that.
right? Well, I think we've gone through everything with the base kit. So,
Yes, I think
anything
that's
else
gonna
on
be
base kit before we get into aspect?
No, I mean, I think the passive meter is still being arted up a little bit, but you can see that number is going to just be how many gods you've bestowed your kills on, just as usual.
Can you one more time? Just one other thing, just to quickly call out. So from the center, you see there's the timer of when it's going to expire. So just a nice little visual
that's
thing
a nice touch.
to see. And I think that's everything I want to talk about.
Sweet.
Yeah,
All right,
trash, but
we
get us
will
that
turn
X.
on Ganesh aspect. I believe it is this command right here, and I've got
Maybe
it
not
on
actually
so clumsy.
trash.
Let's talk about it, shall we?
I don't know a lot about
Aspect
him, but
of the
definitely gives that
triumphant.
X.
So I'm just
Okay.
gonna read it, and then we can go into it.
Absolutely.
Ohm no longer silences, but deals damage to enemies in front of you and provides yourself and allies movement speed. Turn of Fate's mark now only procs the next time you hit the marked enemy with an ability. Additionally, you no longer bestow kills to allies, but each god kill provides permanent cooldown rate.
Yes, that's right. So the main components of this is really the fact that your Ohm, your second ability, is no longer silencing. It's dealing damage per tick instead. That movement speed slow that I mentioned
maybe I like
that
this
is
summing.
there is now actually a movement speed increase for yourself
I like
and
the
for your
idea of
allies. Everything else about the
I
ability
played
is
with
still
this on the
getting protection, you're
PTS
still sharing that with your
when it wasn't supposed to be out
with
yet.
your allies as well. The other components of it as well is the passive. You'd be bestowing kills, but now you're not bestowing anyone's kills.
Right,
You're
yeah.
just getting them yourself.
Yeah,
You're being
this
a
is
little bit
like
more on the
a
selfish side here.
damage
But that also
solo
removes that bonus
jungle
gold that you would have been
shit.
gaining when you were bestowing. So now you're getting that cooldown reduction instead.
But I got a kill, and you see that one. Of course, the passive meter is still being arted up, but that does denote that I've killed an enemy. And how much is the cooldown rate?
It's 2 cooldown rate.
Two
per
cooldown
any
rate
god
per
kill.
kill.
Every
Nice.
kill. Wait, is it last hits or assists?
Is incredibly fun. I've been playing this in playtest for the last week or so. I've played it mid, I've played it solo, I've played it jungle. It has worked in every role. Some are better than others, but like the build changes. You know, like when I'm playing solo, I was building more like hybrid int plus defense items. When I was doing jungle, I was trying to do more like bursty kind of int, like full int build. And when I was going mid, I was trying to go more like I don't know, more like battle magey. I don't know, like I don't exactly know how to describe it, but like it's really fun. Can you go back to base and just like buy a bunch of items just to show?
He's gonna start
insanity
swinging
here.
pretty darn hard.
I actually think this is gonna be fun to play.
Get some gold, add gold.
I played it a little bit, messed around with it a little bit on stream, like what, 2 weeks ago, a week ago.
Inbound, always with the great questions, the 2 knockback wave minions. You know, I only ever see that because he types in caps lock.
Actually,
and he
pretty
says it
Oh
twice.
my gosh.
I'm not gonna be a
3 times
Ganesha
right
main
now,
coming down.
And you know, I'm not gonna answer. No, I'm joking. I actually can't remember. We can find out, and then I'll double check.
Kills
What would you
though,
want it to
for
be,
the you're gonna
Right.
like barely get any
I will
cooldown right
cater
after
our needs to you specifically.
I'm just building a bunch of
Yeah, just a bunch of random int items. You know, just
oh man, this is so cool.
okay. And then
I'll probably use one of them.
Knockback would be OP, so don't do it. You're saying,
Yeah.
or like you would really like that, and that would be cool.
yes, this is just some random int items. This isn't even necessarily like
Don't do it.
ideal. But spawn a couple bots and like let's look at how much
cooldown irrelevant and brace
two
the
and
one
the four
shot.
can
No,
do.
I'm pretty sure I went cooldown
because it's crazy.
and my ult was on a 20-second
good
cooldown. That's why it was OP.
Bombot, Ymir.
I went World
Ares can
Stone,
have it, but
Spear,
Ganesha can't
Chronos
have it.
Pendant,
I see you, Bobby. Okay.
and I was just ult
What is
spamming
it, 2-1?
multiple times in a team fight.
For the
You
No,
open the
two space
fight, that
20.
person, whoever you like try to ult dies, then it's up again like right
There we
away.
go.
Okay. So ult.
Yeah, that damage output is gonna
Sorry,
be.
was there someone there? Like,
Hold on.
It's very fun.
The 2 would now apply Gem of ISO, since it doesn't silence. So you go Gem of ISO on the ult slows, the Gem of ISO slows from the ult, and then you keep it up with the 2, and they might get hit by multiple ticks if you can't hit the stun combo.
But you're a lot.
Stun comboing is gonna be the OP shit.
Be very scared of an elephant showing up in your lane.
Staff of Mirrodin, ult 3 them on the line, 3 again. They don't move. They get 100 to 0'd.
That's all I have to say.
Shake and
it's a
Bake's
blast.
gonna be back. You're actually correct.
You
It is
do
gonna
have
be
to
back.
build int though. If you don't build int, you don't do much
Shake and
with
Bake
this
might
build.
actually. It's not a real
So
shake and
that's
bake.
my-
You just sit them on the line now.
tip
But
for how to be very
yeah,
happy.
you might see some nasty combos.
and then like, that last
Jade Scepter's gonna go crazy. Yeah, you're gonna be able to do some wild shit.
Would be procced by your team's hard
Hold on. Am I wrong, or is what's the one that puts the sphere down on the ground? You Scepter of the minion. You drop the ult right as the fucking thing's about to fall, and then you 3 them every time. It's over. It's the perfect combo. You can't mess up.
But that part has changed to be only your ability damage.
Nice.
So we'll not be proccing off of
It's
anyone
over.
else. But because the 2, and this is something that Kilgoon actually talked about earlier because it made a lot of
Why did
sense.
he say
is that
Kilgoon like that?
you're losing the silence component, so you're losing one less method to proc it. So now it's your ability damage instead, and your 2 is now an ability that
You
does
could proc it
damage.
and then like drop your ult if they walk through the ult, then they get hit
Yep,
with the proc
exactly.
damage. So that's a lot.
Yep, and a lot of the damage in this is in the 2, which you can be stunned or silenced out of. Like if you're getting interrupted while you're trying to 2 channel,
Let's go, Polly.
it's less fun, I will say. But when it's working, it's working, and the fact that you kind of like zoom along as you're doing it too, because you're
Probably
yeah.
guaranteed
It's
go
very
Gem
fun.
or
So,
Do
what's
you
it
mind
called?
hovering over the
Magi.
1 as well? And
Absolutely.
then give me the... Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this was something interesting as well that was added early on. The mark
Dash better than
damage
Scylla? No,
is
Scylla's one of the
actually,
best mids in the
it
game right
scales
now.
off of your enemy's level. So it's something that we haven't actually done before,
Earlium just
which
sucks.
is it's a flat bonus damage, and the scaling is not
Enemy
intelligence,
level?
it's not your level, but it's
What?
actually the enemy's level. And this is not just for the aspect, this is just that mark damage as a whole. The damage itself does not change whether you're in the aspect or not.
Yeah.
But that's something I wanted to point
Oh,
out.
the
there, something
mark
unique.
is scaled off of
Nice,
their
that's
enemy
cool.
level.
Well,
Okay.
Ganesha in the battleground, and you can either be the true support of the supports or just be dealing a lot of damage. Kilgun slammed me in a playtest this morning with Ganesh aspect, so I'm still a little salty.
No,
that-
it's only a
This is like
silence
my
in
fourth time
non-aspect.
playing it
In
playtest. And the
aspect,
first
you
time I
lose a
played it, I
silence
was
for
like,
damage.
this aspect
You
sucks.
get damage.
Clemson. We gotta- 'Cause-
Aspects are always
No,
a
'cause the
trade.
first
They're
time I
never
played
a
it solo,
plus.
And I built like all defense items, and I was just like, I can't clear the wave, like because I thought that I was supposed to just like, as some aspects, just the aspect will change your kit enough to where like you can kind of build and not have to build 2 in a certain direction, and it'll do the thing. You got to build int if you want to do damage on this aspect. If you're not building int, you're gonna have a bad time. But if you build int, it's like it's really fun.
Oh, yeah.
So
Or at
Uh,
least build like
aspects were to be asked.
You definitely want to splash.
Ganesha's best ability in his kit is his silence. He is a worthless fucking support without his silence. Now, I do imagine a world where people are going to be like, why would it be damage Ganesh support? And they're going to do it, and they're not going to be as useful as a regular Ganesh.
Aspect's going to be releasing next Friday after the update.
Sweet.
All right, speaking
but
of
there's
aspects,
another aspect in this episode.
we've got another one, and this one is pretty
Hey, what up, Brady?
spicy.
Thank you for the 98.
So,
Solar,
actually,
thank you
I
for the
need to leave
25.
lobby here before I can enter practice.
Clumsy, can you prepare us
Yes.
for this aspect?
Yeah, so we talked about how last time when there's a god that came out recently that didn't come out with an aspect, and we said that we'd get there, and we were still cooking on that one because there's definitely a certain level of spice that's involved in the kitchen for this one. So Scylla will be getting her aspect in this patch as well.
If it's the one I
and
heard, it's a
we'll
little,
have to remember the
little
name and
strange.
the details. but-
Let's see.
Somebody in chat said Baron's aspect came out today.
Yes,
so if
it
you
is
want to
out
play
now.
Baron's aspect, it's out now. Basically, you can throw your Baron's brew every 20 seconds, which is fun. You get like an extra ability, and if you're at max hysteria, your abilities are going to deal extra damage.
Yes.
So,
That's right.
Cool. All right. Well, I am ready to go. I will bring up the handy dandy desktop, and we'll talk about Scylla's aspect. So, chat immediately. I'm level 20. What's wrong with this picture? You know?
Yeah, we were talking the Biak guy. What's wrong with this? There's something odd here, and that might, and it's not a jungle practice bug. It might be just the fact that Scylla has no mana
Yes,
right now.
exactly. So let's talk about.
What the fuck? Your non-ultimate abilities now provide mana when damaging enemies instead of spending it. I'm a monster can only be used when at full mana, consuming all of it. It no longer provides movement speed, but can now be fired up to 3 times, and the damage scales from your max mana. What? I'm a monster. Stacks now immediately provide a max mana, and at max rank, you gain bonus mana.
Aspect of the Devourer. So, your non-ultimate abilities now provide mana when damaging enemies instead of spending it. I'm a monster can only be used at full mana, consuming all of it.
Sick.
It no longer provides movement speed, but can now be refired up to 3 times, and the damage scales from your max mana. I'm a monster stacks now immediately provide max mana at max rank. You gain bonus mana. So Clumsy, talk to me about this. What did you cook?
Yeah, so you know what? There's so many aspects can go in so many different directions, and sometimes we just want to do something wacky and different. You know, like Merlin was a version of that. This is okay. So this is definitely wacky, and it's going to be different. It's a different play style that you kind of will need to be playing around with. Like your mana just doesn't matter now. So immediately, you know, your assault mains out there. Another reason to love Scylla. You literally won't have any mana complaints to be worrying about there. Maybe a bit strong there, but we can talk about that later. But yeah, so you're actually going to be generating the amount of mana that you would be spending, which is actually still seen
So
in
3.
your abilities,
Oh,
icons.
if you auto,
That's
does it
actually how much
generate
mana
mana?
you're gonna
Hold
be
on, if
getting
you
when
3s and
deal damage to
autos, does it get
enemy
mana?
gods. And you gain about 20% of that mana that you would be spending as mana back on minions as well. So you can get.
Okay, this takes forever to
mana
get
off
your
of
ult up.
minions. And then once you get to your full, there is still
never mind, it process minions, okay.
Ultimate as a safety
Still a
valve,
while,
which
but
is
not
going
as long.
20 miles per hour the way it
Yeah.
would be.
Minions
But,
generate slower.
what
Take
you
a deep
actually
breath.
really need,
While I
what you
build
actually
mana
really
here.
need is your full
Hold on,
mana.
I wanna see if it
And once you get to
stacks.
100% of your current mana, you can then use your ultimate, and it no longer scales off of intelligence, but it only scales off of base damage
cooldowns here.
plus your total maximum mana that will then fully be consumed.
So I'm just going to reduce my cooldowns here. That way I can get mana really quick.
So there's definitely a lot of like.
If you're
there's
hitting minions, it
things
takes a long
think
time to
about
stack.
here. So now we have full mana. That ultimate is available to use, and if you use it, no matter what you do, you will still get 3 booms. Boom, boom, boom.
But it used all my mana.
But it uses all of your mana, and now you're reset, and then you're starting again. So there's 2 main things to be thinking about here, which is 1, you're gaining mana as you level up. You're gaining mana through like the new ultimate stacks, which is not giving you damage technically, but it's giving you mana. You're gaining mana from items theoretically if you build into that. That being said, because you need maximum mana, you need 100% mana to actually use your ultimate. It's a soft secondary gauge that's almost working in its own way of cooldown.
Yeah.
But you're not getting any mana regeneration. You're not getting any way of getting mana over time, which is something that we're still thinking about if we want to. But there's we want to make sure, we want to see almost for you guys if this loop feels fun. Because like if you go Book of
I want
Thoth,
in
for
the auto
example,
to see
you're going to be
the
doing a
procs
lot
off
more
the
damage to
3
your
auto.
ultimate, but you won't be getting to your ultimate as quickly because it takes you longer to get there and use your abilities. That being said, you can actually counter build into that by buying more cooldown reduction. The more cooldown reduction you have, the more abilities that you can spend, which is more mana regen that you're getting faster and faster. So you have this balance between mana.
Like a wall. Of
I know,
pictures
right?
With, like strings connecting all this. There's a lot going on.
So it's like if you go, you know, Rotted or one of those I was building just today, which has mana in it, then you might want to build like a Chronos Pendant as well to get your mana regen faster. And
It does proc off the 3?
So like cooldown reduction,
Alright,
the
Andy.
ultimate still has a cooldown as a safety valve.
Wait, the bonus damage scaling on your ultimate becomes 24% mana for the ultimate. Is that not weird? So you have to build mana for your ult to hit harder. But then it takes more abilities to get your ult up. So that it counters itself.
But it's not there. Like that's like the soft gate. You're almost always going to be gated by the mana. So what you want to do is probably get cooldown reduction or and hit enemy gods more often or hit enemy minions, but you only get the 20%.
I mean,
Yeah.
how much mana can you get in a build? Like what's the or it's your total mana, it's not in a build. What's your max mana you can get on Scylla? Period. Can you hit 3k? Because that's only 750. So that means the ult's only hitting for 1,000. But it's 3 of them, but it's still only hitting for 1,000. Wait, no. He has 1,700 mana with no items right now, right?
We have talked about potentially giving, like, let's say
1850
mana from items
without
as a
any
soft
items.
way of getting mana regeneration as well
But
over
it has
time,
7 stacks.
or another
That
mechanism,
gives
like
mana.
let's say maybe for every second you have your ultimate
think he had
off cooldown, you start
1650
getting mana
mana when it
regeneration
started
there, so
without
at
any
least
stacks.
comes back over time. But we wanted to kind of see how this was a lot to cook on already, that we wanted to throw as little variables as we could into it, and then we can play with it from there. But it's a much different way of seeing and even facing against Scylla. I think in the very first playtest, someone was versing against Scylla, and like she used her ultimate. It's like, okay, sweet. Wait, she's in it again. She didn't kill anyone. But
Yeah,
like,
I'm pretty sure if you run this, I'm opening with my ultimate. Like I'm legit just ulting 3 times to see if I can fuck somebody up, and then I'm spamming my abilities and hoping it's somehow enough to get it back up, but it probably isn't.
she's going again. She's going again.
Yes, it's a completely different gameplay loop for Scylla,
Yes.
which is super exciting.
It is. It's very different. It's fun. It's interesting to play against. And yeah, hopefully people like it.
It's the ult reset. It doesn't exist. It's always 3 every time, unless you cancel out of it.
Yeah.
Don't leave.
Hold on, isn't Sands of Time OP then? So like, as soon as you ult dump, you have a buttload of bonus power. Oh no, it's mana you have. It's mana you have. So it's actually the opposite. It's dog shit. Yeah, it's dog shit.
This
Yeah,
way.
I was gonna bring us back to cams. Yes, I'm in depth today, chat. Sorry, no spoilers, but we not necessarily spoilers, but we want to talk about what's coming in OB12. We don't want to talk about anything.
Can we talk about 2 other things on that screen before we?
Yes, yes.
Two in-game things before we go on.
Yep.
Okay, first thing, and one of them will be harder to show here, but the first thing is the line is different now.
Yes.
I don't know if you see. So that we Chuck took
fucked
a
with
pass
my line.
on changing
Oh,
the
yeah.
FX that is the line, and this is kind of V1.
Why you fuck with my line?
Big thing that we wanted to do was to make the end of the line a lot clearer, because that's really what you care about most of the time is
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah, I do think this is better for new players, but why are they fucking with my line?
And then the kind of soft lines on the side are kind of
Hello,
not
Doug.
really
Thank you for the
like,
90.
they're kind of like the width of your basic attacks. So like you might hit something that's still in that area. So it's kind of like, and also like if you pull up a line targeter, the line targeter is going to line up with that. So it gives you just a little bit more like instant like feels about the stuff. This is kind of V1. We're gonna do a couple other versions of this as well that maybe are just the end part. Maybe we do the end part in the center line, And then the other thing that has been broken since the start of Smite 2 is that your position of this should change if you are a melee character or if you're a ranged character.
Oh, nice. That's
To
cool.
line with the end of your thing. So I'm not 100% sure we're going to get that part into the next update, but that is on the list to do. That we're going to hook that up properly so that the line, properly reflects that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why people use a
And then one
crosshair.
thing I
I'm gonna be
noticed in
honest.
Kilgoon is if I hit, I get my little red target
Yeah,
here.
that's
Oh,
Damn.
that is not in this update. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
I don't think hit marker stuff is in this update. I think that's just in
So
this.
still
Markers
kinda
is
work in progress.
Crazy.
One thing that the other thing I did want to show though is if you I think getting hit by tower
Yep.
might trigger
It
it.
will.
Okay. So
Nice.
right there is you see that little arrow pop
It
up.
shows where you're gonna
That
get
is
hit
our
from.
our directional damage indicator.
what?
It's softer and like
You
cleaner
can
than
see
last
where
time,
it's
like-
coming
Yeah, we're
from.
continuing to work on the exact like visual treatment of it, and even what goes live may not be perfect, but we're feeling pretty good about where it is right now, at least to where we can ship it. So if you have multiple people that are attacking you, there will be multiple arrows. The
It's gonna be
initial
kind of
size
annoying.
scales to the amount of damage that you're being dealt.
Oh, nice.
If you get hit multiple times, it grows.
Oh, nice.
To further draw your attention to, hey, this person
You
is
turn that
doing
off? I don't like
more
that.
damage
Look,
to you.
dude, you can't fucking see the middle of your screen. That has to be able to be turned off, or that shouldn't be implemented in the game.
I see, yeah.
So, like, pay attention. So, a lot
turn
of
it off,
little things there that should help make combat a
Yeah,
lot
if you
more
couldn't turn that off, that
readable
would be a
and
problem.
understanding, wait, what the hell is doing damage to me?
Right.
There is an option to turn this off.
There you go.
But again, this is the kind of thing that we think new players in particular
Yeah,
will
I mean,
really
that will be good for
appreciate,
new players, but that
because
shipping
most
that big
games
on
that
your
are like
screen is
us
bad.
have this.
Yeah.
If you have been playing Smite for a decade and this is the only game you've played for a decade, you're probably like, this is useless, right? But for most players, we think that that's going to be a nice little help. And that's the end of my in-game stuff for
Oh
today.
yeah, that's two good, really,
and then I got
good quality of life changes.
I have other
for
things
sure.
for later, but for right now.
Sweet. All right. Well, I'm gonna bring us back to cams. What's next on the list, Kilgoon? Should we talk about the Traveler coming?
Yeah, let's do the Traveler.
Cool.
As if you are not in America. You may not know that the greatest day of the year is approaching. July 4th is American Independence Day. And we always celebrate Independence Day in Smite because we have a lot of American players. And if you're not an American player, you might like making fun of Americans with some over-the-top cosmetics. So we have a little dose of freedom we're unleashing today.
And I'm going to bring it up. I will call it out before I bring it up. This screen is temp. It's not quite all the way done yet, but we can show it off.
Yeah.
It is the Freedom Traveler
my God.
with the Thorge Washington skin.
Yes, this is
I have not
What?
seen this.
All right, that's a
Thorge
pretty good
Washington.
skin.
Is
The
pretty
Thorge
incredible.
Washington skin. What the fuck?
His wall is not quite done. His card art isn't done, which is why we have the other
He
one in
looks a
place.
little clayey though.
Wow.
I believe
His armor
don't
looks
hold me
good,
to
but
this,
his body
I
looks
have
like it's made of
heard
clay.
that the wall is going to be a little bit like Mount Rushmore.
Oh my gosh,
No
that's
shit.
hilarious.
Which is kind of funny. Yeah, his effects in game are really cool. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Another thing that our players will find pretty exciting here, I think, is that Raw America is back.
Yay. Classic.
So classic skin, we don't have the tags quite right yet, I don't think, but classic skin that is just unlocked for free when you get the Traveler.
Yep.
It'll be available for Legacy gems only later, same way.
Correct, yep.
And you will get a, somebody says, Mythical's a tier 5. Is this a mistake? Yeah. There's a little bit of setup. So
Still temp, yeah.
There's also a prism in here, which is
Whoa.
The Chrome
Eagle Raw.
Oh, damn.
This has a different voice pack, or a different
like
voice
robotic.
It's the
pack
same.
treatment.
Yeah. He sounds almost like a robot, which is really cool.
Yep.
Can you go back to the other one? I just want to see flick between them. Yeah, because the whole like feather textures of John, and he's like,
He's chromed out.
sensible now. That's sick.
When we were like, we
That's
want to bring him
actually
back
really
and do a
cool.
prism of him, we're like, how the hell are we going to prism
Right.
an American
is
color
smart.
scheme thing? But yeah, our team always just comes up with really cool ideas, and I think this guy's neat. And shout out to Kellen for doing a pass on the voice pack to
Nice.
sound a little more mechanical.
Yeah, and then other things in this, you get the Freedom Badge, which is that hammer from Thorge Washington. A really awesome Ort skin.
Oh,
The Ultimate
that's a
Eagle.
classic.
Yeah.
This is sick.
Wow.
So July, the Freedom Travel. Probably
I think it's good. That Thor skin's good.
Sorry, I don't have the final price today for that. Sweet. So that's the 4th of July Traveler. Do you want to do the other 4th of July stuff
Yeah,
first?
let's do that.
Okay, so it's a double dose of freedom in this update.
All right, cool.
We also thought it would be fun to do. We want to make sure we're not doing like too much stuff in the supporter store. But we thought this could be a fun place to do like a themed seasonal bundle.
Yeah.
Because
I'll bust it.
people always love this stuff. So we did a special seasonal bundle here, which has two really cool teleporter
Yeah.
effects.
Oh, snap. What?
These
So-
are teleporter effects, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a teleporter effect. So you become a
of
bald
course,
eagle,
it's work in progress
flying
still.
along. There's FX that fly out of the back of it. I think there's like patriotic music that plays.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty hilarious. And then if you're more of an America fighter jet guy,
Yeah.
similarly,
That's been
fighter jet flying along with
Okay.
FX trail
Yep.
and special sound effect, which is pretty fun. And it does tilt with like it actually kind of like goes like this flying
Yeah,
around. It's not just
very
like I'm locked onto my path. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, if we've got a fighter jet,
Yeah.
we've got our Smite cards.
Yeah, and somebody
there you
asks if the Eagle was custom made for this. I will fully admit this is a modified version of like Sun Wukong's Eagle, right?
This is coming out of base, right? So the plane is flying through the towers.
But we did art it to make it look more like a bald eagle, and
Okay.
we thought it would be a fun thing.
We've
to put
got
in.
the Smite 1 cards that we could definitely do.
We do. There's
Other stuff in
also,
here.
Specifically flying
new
through
name
two
flare.
towers.
So there is a starry animated Independence Day
I'm just
name
saying.
flare.
I realize it's a jet.
And then
It's
there's
definitely
also,
different.
we
I'm
were
just saying
missing,
somebody's
like, a blue and a
someone's
red
gonna bring it
option.
up.
So if you just want a blue option or a red option, cool.
Yep.
There's also 4 quips in here.
Give us the backstory on this, Kilgoon.
Okay, I personally was lobbying for this. In another life, I was working on
Kyle.
Paladins before I came back to Smite, and we made a really good Independence Day skin, which has one of the best voice packs ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, we just got to take some of the lines from that American skin and bring them over because they are hilarious.
Yeah.
So it's 4 lines from that skin's voice pack that I just find hilarious. So hopefully you find them as
Yeah.
amusing as I do. Are they?
Thank me. Thank capitalism. That's democracy, baby. Screw the metric system.
I love it.
Bro, I'm gonna go these and just spam that with people that I know aren't NA players.
What the heck?
About to get patriotic as fucking here.
Oh, that was great. Okay. Nice.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so I think I don't know. I thought this is we were like we didn't want to just put together like, oh, here's a bunch more name colors. Oh,
Yeah.
here's a bunch more teleport. So we were like, let's do a seasonal bundle.
Hold on, that's a screen tear on their end, right? You guys see that? Like right here. Watch this.
So I think more name colors. Oh,
Yeah.
here's a bunch more
That's
teleport.
on their
So
end, right?
we
That's
were
not my
let's do a
shit?
seasonal bundle. I think I don't remember the price, so I'm not going to say it. But there's a reasonable
Okay.
price. I hope for a collection of a bunch of different fun seasonal things. So
Very
It's like, what's going
screw
on?
the metrics. Yeah.
Hold on, someone said can't stop the bleeding on this game, but they're dumping. They stopped the bleeding, bro. The console player base in this game has like tripled. You don't need to be a Steam player for them to make money. Console people tend to run this game, brother. That's the way it is. It's a very big console game. And if you don't think 20 to 30K people playing at any given moment is big, I think you need to go talk to somebody, because I truly believe you don't understand how money is made in the gaming scene.
That's the message.
Keep in mind, just as an example, if you think only big streamers can make good money, I've made a living playing Smite for 10 years. It doesn't have to be the biggest to make good money or a lot of money.
If somebody says I'm German and I need this bundle, that's the people who like are maybe working on another.
TV doesn't go straight through the second tower? What do you mean? Well, don't the towers disappear when it goes? It's the concept, bro.
Game or something. And they
It
look at
is
this
on
and like,
Epic, yes.
Why do they make all this American stuff? It's because it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Console was the bigger player base on Smite 1, and it grew in Smite 2. Like over the past few months, it has gotten bigger, not smaller.
To be like make fun of the things that make America
exactly, yeah.
It's very good in solo with their aspect.
Exactly. Okay, so we've
What do you got up next on the list? Again?
Do you want to do the other traveler?
Let's see. I think that page may be like really, really temp. So,
Okay, so
I can maybe just bring up the skin and the loadout.
yeah, that's probably fine.
All right, cool.
So when we recently did Landshark with the prisms as a traveler, prisms as has 4 prisms in it instead of 3, because we were initially going to do this as a bundle. So there's Scarlet Tempest,
Love
Long
it.
Unicorn. There's Morning
Oh.
Haze.
Oh, this is
the
sick.
one I've been
Nice.
using in playtest. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, this one's sick.
There's Amethyst.
Nice.
That's a typo. Amethyst
Oh, yeah.
shade. And then there is Blacklight.
No. Oh, woo.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
sick.
cool. I
Yeah,
like that
so
one the
pretty
most.
fun. Like I said, we were initially going to do the travel. I want to buy gems, so
What else are we looking at?
hopefully everybody enjoys the new travelers.
Yeah.
We got a lot more stuff in this.
I
episode,
know,
though.
right? Another skin that I've got.
But
pulled
wait,
up.
How many
There's
skins
more.
are they pumping? I'm glad they are pumping out skins
another
now.
skin
But
pulled up. Which
how
one
many
is
they
it?
got?
It is an all new skin. Venom Strike Medusa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
So this is cool. This is
Look at her
going to
hair.
be in a
Pretty
chest, I
close.
believe, or available for direct purchase. So new chest, Venom Strike.
that's really
Medusa.
close
It's
to
not
my
fabled. We just don't have the
knowledge.
tagging quite done yet. And
And
she
it's a
looks
snake.
pretty dope. And
She's got
very
3
sick.
prisms as well.
she does have
pretty
3 prisms
close.
as well. So if you want to be blue coral,
Oh,
that one's
okay.
sick.
Yeah.
I love
I
the
this-
material change
yeah,
and seeing
this
all of
one's
this
sick.
now. This is so nice.
Then you've got White Cobra.
Oh
All
my
right.
gosh. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
They kind of
This White
cooked with
Cobra's
the
like- that's
color
really cool.
changes affecting
But,
the hair.
Black Mamba
and the
is
face
a close
mask.
second.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
Dude,
All right.
I-
Wait, I'm just running this all day. I can't have a Kobe fucking mural behind me and not just run this
All
all
of
day.
these
Every time
are
we
really
show off
sick, though.
prisms, I'm always just blown away.
That's
I'm like,
good.
you see the skin for the first time and it's great, and then you just see all the
That's
different art
good.
treatments to it, and it really makes me appreciate all the subtle additions on every single one.
Yeah.
It's dope.
And again, like it's in the chest, or you can get direct purchase. up to you. You know, we like to give people the option. Generally speaking, we view chests as
I'm about to have to buy like
discounted
$400 in diamonds to buy all this
bundle-ish
shit.
kind of thing. If you just want some content, you don't really care exactly what it is. Cool, roll the chest. If you specifically only want this skin, then just buy the skin. We aren't trying to be rude about it. Sweet. There's one more skin thing.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I think I may have missed it.
The Jingwei Bumblebee skin. That was a classic skin that was part of the first Traveler that we did.
Right.
It's the Traveler's going away, so it will now be available for Legacy Gems. If you just want to get the Bumblebee skin directly, like we promised it was going to be. We also have 2 additional prisms for it because they made a couple extras and they were like, these are fun. So if you want to buy these other prisms, you can. They are the Beetle.
Nice.
Another bug theme, kind of some iridescent.
Okay, I like the prism skins when they launched. Then I thought they were overdoing it, but now the more that I think about it, like I would never buy this skin. I have no interest in the way this skin looks, and I'm not really hype about this one, but I like it more. So then I'm like, is the third one or whatever going to be even better?
Oh,
So that's going to appeal to somebody.
Again, if you want to get some prisms
did they
for
skip
your,
one of
for your classic
showed
Bumblebee
3.
skin, those are options.
Lots of cool content.
Let's
in this
get trolled.
Yeah, lots of cool content. I think that's it for skins. And then,
I usually do 25 for a god, and then if you want to build 2, it's another 25. But it depends on what you want. Like it might be something I'll try.
I have a bunch of other just like quality of life improvement stuff that's going to
Love
be here.
that.
Well, if you just want to
First
go down the
one
list
has
and
been
tell me what to bring up in game.
Okay, the
I don't know if
ladybug.
we'll be able to
Yeah, I
see
know
all
what
of
you're
it
talking
in
about.
game, but I will talk through most of it.
Cool.
So every time that you log into Smite right now, you're greeted by a screen
It's annoying as
that
fuck.
does nothing except you have to click to go past it.
Yeah, it's annoying as
You're
fuck.
talking directly to me now.
That's not going to happen anymore.
Thank God.
You will still briefly see this screen, but it will automatically advance into the game if the servers are up. If the servers aren't up, then you're going to be stuck on that screen.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry.
cool.
One click removed from your life every time you play the game equals joy for me.
Big win.
This is going to affect a handful of players, but this came up and it was an easy thing to fix. We're going to remember the last queue you played via our online settings now. So if you play like Joust on your computer and then you go over to your Xbox, it'll remember that you played Joust.
Yeah.
Cool. Relatively small one. Can you open the settings screen?
Yes.
This is the dumbest, but the kind of thing that I want to make sure that we really get right because I think it matters.
And I'm here.
Do you see a button that says close?
I do.
That wasn't there before. You had to think to push escape or X or whatever the back is on console to close it. So now there is a close button for your settings screen.
Yep.
I hope none of you got
It
stuck on that
is-
screen.
it really is the little
That
things,
would be
yeah.
embarrassing. Don't admit to that.
We have a number of cleanups to the match lobby that are along the same lines. If you are not playing Assault, the activate boost button at the bottom won't be shown.
Sure.
If you're not playing Conquest, the change role button won't be shown. The role-specific tabs for gods, they're like, this is a good jungler. Won't
They're
be
cooking
shown
on the
unless you're in
details now,
Conquest,
bro. I think
because
they're getting
that's useless
prepped
information.
for 1.0
And stuff
full
that really
release.
confuses new players. 'Cause they're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is all this stuff? What? I click on
Also,
booster and I
If you're Kilgoon, I assume Smite's good now, right? I assume they're in a good place. They're probably not worried about it. But this motherfucker's stocks for going and working at another company if he wanted to are going crazy.
can't use booster because I'm playing arena.
He's becoming so much more relatable compared to
We will
everyone
be
else that was
sorting
in
gods that
his
you
position.
own to the top of the list, or that are on
Is that a
rotation.
portal?
Yeah.
David
So,
78?
It's not like I have to scroll down and see Ra.
Yes, sir, brother. Glad you liked it.
Much easier to find your gods. Somebody says you can't use boost in arena. Currently in Smite 2, we only have one kind of boost, and it's like a skin booster
Yeah.
thing.
Same,
and it
Maelstrom. I'm not
only
gonna
works
lie.
in Assault. At some point in the future, we'll probably add boosts to other things.
Raw
that
Dog and
are
Day
like
with
SP
13
boosts
months.
or whatever. But we don't have those yet.
I hope
So we were
they
just
hold off
wasting
for a full
real
release
estate by
and
showing
have
you
a
that.
LAN in January.
And even if
That's
we do
my
have boosts in
prayer,
other
but,
modes, we shouldn't show
you
you
know, it
that
might be
button if
middle
you
of
don't
the
have a
year
boost
like
in
they've
your
done
boost,
before.
right? So
Pretty
new
sure
players shouldn't see
Xbox
that
full
button
release
regardless.
was in the middle of the year.
There's also
in the
a
middle.
button to close the filter
Isaiah left,
tab
Kilgoon
in the match
middle,
lobby now.
Clumsy right.
There was no close button on that either. So that's another one. I have two other things that are again tied into this new user flow. Aspects will no longer be selectable until your account level 5.
Oh,
Right.
I thought it was gonna be not
We think
auto
that
selected. I was
aspects
about to be
are
happy.
awesome. They're a great part of Smite 2, but they really are complicated, and it's not the way that new players are supposed to play a god most of the time, right?
Level 5 takes you like 5 minutes, bro. like 5 fucking minutes. So if anyone complains about this, you're a fucking loser. I'm sorry. Go play 3 games on something that you find fun.
It's only account level 5,
Zell?
which you're going to get to in
I've
an
got
hour
Northern
or
Lights.
maybe an hour and a half of playing.
Cape Hatteras,
It's not
Lighthouse.
per god, so you don't have to get like to a certain mastery level or
It's not throwing
anything.
my water all the
It's
way.
just once you
Wolf.
have some idea
Wolf.
what you're doing in the game,
Wolf.
you can pick an aspect.
Yeah.
Similarly, you will now, you know how at the beginning of every match, it's like, do you want a manual build or do you want an auto build? And which auto build do you want to use? And then it's like, which relic do you want to use? That's a lot of fucking decisions for a new player. And it's just like, oh my God, there's so much stuff and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just clicking and I'm like, oh, there's a lot. I don't know about this game, right? Until you're level 5, once again, account level 5, we're just going to automatically pick you an auto build and we're going to automatically build you a relic that is appropriate for that auto build. So once again, only until you're level 5. If you don't want that to happen, you can open the item store and build for yourself.
Rank
you know.
level requirement? I think it's
Or
5. It might be
you can
10,
actually
but I think it's
also,
5.
Like, kind of hack it by like pinning a build from the community
Oh, that's
builds.
true. Yeah.
But again, for new players, it's just don't have to think about it at all. I don't have to select an auto build. I don't have to pick a relic. It just is what it is.
Just hop in game and have fun.
We are also simplifying the text on the select relic screen. Previously, we displayed the full tooltip text for every relic. Nobody actually read this, and it was very confusing, especially to new players. So once you hit level 5,
10?
and you get
Okay,
to the
it's 10
select
for
relic
Rick.
screen, can you actually like look at it? Is that a, do you have like that flow on?
I do not, but I can turn it on and pull it up.
Cool. So basically, it's just going to show the short descriptions for those, which is like maybe a sentence long, like makes you immune to damage, like makes you CC immune, like just a really quick version of like, this is what this thing does, and this is actually the thing that's going to inform my decision. And it doesn't matter that like, Aegis still makes you move faster if you take damage while you're Aegis, right? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
It does? I had no idea it still did that shit. I actually had no idea it still did that shit. Hold on. Each instance of damage prevented provides you 7% movement speed for 6 seconds, stacking 3 times. What the fuck? I didn't know that was still in the game. That's insane.
Nobody cares unless you're like the top
Okay, so this is
5% of
the
players.
simplified version.
That's not a thing that you need to know when you're making that decision until you're really good.
So yeah, this is the simplified text. Yeah.
Oh,
Really
they're
easy.
simplifying
Oh,
the
do I want to shield my
auto,
team?
like,
Do I want to damage
in your
dodge?
face
Do I want to
shit.
go immune
Nice.
damage? Do I want to teleport? Cool. Easy. Right? Like, again, somebody just said, I didn't know it did that. Because nobody reads the text. It was too much.
Clumsy's like, no.
Yeah.
All the
So much time. Yes, the tooltips and descriptions. Read
Nobody
them
reads it.
eventually.
Nobody
when,
reads
when it's the time and it's
Yeah.
appropriate. Because that's the main thing.
Can we go back in game real quick?
Yeah.
And then
This is a lot of new player QNL.
Can you, if you
Q&L.
close this or just like
Quality
something?
of life QNL.
Yeah, let's do.
QNL story.
We'll get bees.
Oh, it doesn't have. Can you get hit by a tower again, real quick? Just maybe it'll pop up.
Yep.
We're also changing the. Oh, it's not showing in this mode. Maybe it just doesn't work in this mode.
Maybe.
There's like help text that appears when certain things are happening to you, like when you're low health and you should go back to base,
Right,
or when you have a ton of gold and you should spend it, like that kind of
helpful
thing.
tips or something like that is a separate.
We're just making it. I think it's just like a brighter red around the edges. There may be a little bit of a pulsing effect or something. I'm not exactly sure which, but we want to make sure that you understand that this is like, pay attention to me. There's something going on that you should probably react to.
Right.
So small change. And then 2 other things, and there may actually be more stuff that ends up getting into the patch, but 2 other things that I feel comfortable talking about today. We're going to be adding the good for new players tags to the gods that are part of the free god rotation.
Cool.
Because it's really weird when you're a new player and it's like, but don't play these gods that are free that you can actually play.
Yeah.
Like go unlock these other gods to play them. So just a really really, that's in already, says Blake. So thanks, Blake. And then the last thing that we're experimenting with right now, and I can't show off today, but we'll probably show off on Wednesday, is we're working on a slightly different camera that is, we're currently calling it the action camera internally. But essentially, the way that we calculate our FOV and where our camera is actually not going to move the camera position very much, but it's going to change the FOV to be to feel more like a modern game.
Okay, before we get farther into this, Deadlock is a terrible game because of the FOV. It is an unwatchable game. It also makes it fun to play for someone like me. If this FOV thing is forced, I don't want to, I'm not trying to doom, but in my opinion, the FOV is perfect. If this is changing the way the camera sits while I'm moving around, this might really fuck up the game. It's not forced. Oh, this would be an option. Okay.
Big part of that, and FOV is like,
it's weird for it to be an option to me, but if it helps someone else, that's fine. But I'm just thinking this is a major change if it's forced. So
field of view, it's
I'm
like how wide is your camera seeing, right? And the problem with a really wide FOV like we have is that it makes things feel really far away that are like in the middle of your screen that are like a medium distance away. So you can see more, but it has the side effect of like making things in the distance feel really small.
Very interested what this camera is.
So we think it like changes the feel of the game quite a bit. And this is the way Smite 1 is, like Smite 1 parity. So we're adding this alternate Smite is very fisheye right now, right? Smite is a very wide FOV.
Yep.
So you can see like around the edges of your character, basically.
Thank you, Lord.
But we want to have the default camera for new players be a little bit tighter, because that's more of a normal experience, and the game feels more actiony, and the game looks better from a tighter FOV.
Really?
This doesn't change your ability to zoom in and out. At least I don't think it will. Maybe in
I'll have to see it, but I think I strongly disagree with this.
And we are not doing away with the classic cam.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
If you are a current player and you like the way Smite looks and plays, cool. Yeah. Keep doing it. I'll probably keep doing it too. This is more like, I don't know if you guys have played like WoW. When you load into WoW, the camera like this.
Everything they've done is to make the learning experience quicker. So this might be really good. Someone said they're picking up on younger players' attention spans. Maybe they are, and I hope they're right. I'm very interested to see this if they even show it right now.
Right? Once I've played WoW for like a day or two, my camera's up here, and it's mostly like a top-down game, right? It's about that first experience, and then people can go in and change the camera if they want to. So we really want to make sure that that initial feeling is more actiony and modern. And if
he is right though. What he just said about WoW, when you first boot up WoW, you're not zoomed in. You are zoomed in, and then the more you play, the more you realize you need to be at like a max FOV, like super far back to see what you want to see. The game feels good at first, then you're like, I want to see more, and you go back more and more and more and more. So I get the concept.
The camera
is accurate
because the way we are right now is much more like.
And if you didn't know, maybe things have changed, but for Smite 1, they really felt like they pulled MMO players. That was like their player base they pulled a lot from. So it makes sense to do something like this when they have MMO in mind.
An old school MMO camera versus like a modern action game camera. So I think that's everything I was going to talk about today. There's more stuff that we are working on, but I don't know if it's going to get
lots more stuff. Yeah.
But that should give you, again, more of the kind of an idea of like
is
the
field
kind
of view
stuff that we are focusing on.
It's how zoomed in or zoomed out you are.
We want to make sure that the game is improving very rapidly. We're focusing on quality of life things. We're focusing primarily on things that you would notice as a new player, and obviously affect your experience even if you're not a new player. And we're focusing on adding new gods and new aspects and new items and stuff where it makes sense. I will say, people want to see the new FOV. I would have liked to show it today, but it's not quite working right now, which is why I can't show it. We'll definitely show it off on Wednesday. Maybe it'll be ready for the PTS test tomorrow. I saw Pawn was in chat. Maybe he knows. But yeah, it's
Redman, thank you. Welcome back.
And hopefully we'll get into a place that's good enough to ship and start getting some feedback on, and we'll keep going from there. So Pon says he's working on it. Sweet.
Nice. Cool. Sweet. So Gosh, that was a lot. So to recap, Ganesh.
Do this like recap, and I'm like, and it's been 2 weeks.
Yep.
Like, we're consistently trying to make the game better and better and better. We think it's getting better and better and better. Like I said, I think that we're getting to the point where we can really start addressing a lot of this stuff, because before it was like the core game just needed all of our
They
attention.
change
I think the
so
core game
much
is
shit
really
every
fun right
week,
now. So
2
now
weeks.
it's more, how do we make the rest of the experience great, and how do we make new players be able to onboard even better, right? And I will say, like, we're going to be willing to make some really big experiments and big swings on things that new players will experience. But the general goal is that, like, it's not necessarily anything that you will ever have to interact with as an advanced player, right? Like, you have fun playing Rank Conquest, cool.
Yeah.
But how do we make the new player experience better? And we might try some crazy things. If we try something crazy and it doesn't work, then we'll do away with it.
roll it
We'll try
back,
something else, right? Like, but we're going to do a lot of experimentation.
Is he the first? Is this the first time they've really at any point focused on new player acquisition? Because I can't think of any time in Smite 1 where they were really doing big shit like this.
Around
I don't
new
think they
player
ever
stuff
did.
in particular. So it's really been a really, like, this team is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, people that work here are great, and I'm always impressed with how much we're able to get done, and I really just proud of everybody, and excited, and hopefully everybody enjoys playing the new update when
I
it
know.
drops.
Yeah, I believe the goal is to hopefully flash test at some point this week, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday after our Wednesday Titan Talk. But we'll follow with Kabir, and of course, we'll let you all know on social media whenever there's a flash test available for you all to play.
Yeah.
And we've got about 10 minutes left in the show, so maybe open it up for just a short little Q&A question. Chat Clumsy's here if you got any questions about Ganesh aspect, or Scylla aspect, just because that thing is so spicy. Clumsy's got to take a drink because it was so spicy.
I wanted to play. I was
so we'll
hoping
hang
the
out for the
aspect we
next 10
played
minutes or
tonight.
so and take a few questions
They
before
are
we get
doing
back
questions.
to it.
Oh yeah, there is people asking about roadmap, like who's after Ganesh. We'll probably next week we'll talk about who's coming after
hope
Ganesh.
it's
'Cause
Mercury, bro.
usually the week where we talk about the
Please.
new stuff, and like, this is just a busier week in terms of like our schedule, and we have a lot of stuff to
Yeah,
talk
we
about.
haven't even talked about balance yet.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's still a lot of balance stuff. Like, there's a lot, right? So we kind of have a busy week. Probably next week we'll at least talk about who the next two gods are, and you know, as much as we're able to share. Yeah. So
No, data mining has Mercury at like a 99% chance after Ganesha. I think Janet's and OE are just new data mines.
Beach Babe Afro.
All right, this is just me talking about stuff. I like everything about what they talked about. Nothing was insane, like, oh, rank's gonna be broken now or games are gonna suck. It was just like really positive shit. So I like that. That's a good opener to this week.